Hey everybody, my name is Corp Cosplay, and today we are going to cover the 6 foam cosplay tools that you need if you want to start cosplaying with EVA foam. For those who don't know, my name is Corp Cosplay. I'm a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area, and I've been cosplaying for about 10 years, really pushing it as a full-time hobby for the past 5. I've won a few awards, I've done some conventions, and a whole lot more. And I started with EVA foam, and that is still traditionally the medium that I use the most. I've done some Ghost Rider skulls and red skulls. You see a pattern here, but I love using EVA foam. And when I started back in the day, there wasn't a lot of tutorials or basic how-to videos of how to start using foam. There was a lot of videos showing big, huge cosplays and all these intricate details, but there was no starter kit of like, what should I start with? Do I need to buy these $500 tools, or do I just need a small set of the most important stuff? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 6 tools that I think you need to start your foam cosplaying, and once you start using those, you can extend and buy a lot bigger and better things. Oh, and by the way, obviously, foam is going to be number one. We're not going to count that as tool number one, but foam is something you're obviously going to need. So we're just going to cover it right now. Not number one, number 0, foam is needed, obviously. So tool number 1 you're going to need is a writing tool. And that writing tool could be a bunch of different things, but there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. Usually, I use just a ballpoint pen. Whatever one writes cleanly and you like using, a ballpoint pen is a great tool to have. You can also use a Sharpie. That's another one that is very good to use when you're using foam. However, there is something to remember when you're using these items. If you have black foam, neither of those are going to work. So if you're going to primarily use black EVA foam, you're going to want to make sure to pick up a silver Sharpie or a gold Sharpie. Those are the 2 utensils that will work very well writing your lines on black foam. The black Sharpie isn't going to work. The blue is hard to see on the black foam. So if you're going to primarily use white or any of the colors, you should be good with a ballpoint pen or a black Sharpie. And if you're going to be using black, silver, and gold. Next, you're going to want a set of X-Acto knives. Now, there's tons of X-Acto knives out there that you could use. You could use box cutters for some thin foams. You can use the ones that flip out that are done by Mastercraft. I got a couple of those in the garage. But the ones that you want are the extended blade X-Acto knives. Those are the best for cutting EVA foam. And there's primarily 2 types. There's primarily a thicker one and a thinner one. If you can get both, it's great to have both. But if you're just getting one, I would suggest getting the thicker blade, because the thicker blade is going to cut through thicker foam and thinner foam. The thinner blade will cut your EVA foam, there isn't a doubt on that, but because it's a thin blade, it has a lot of flex to it. So trying to cut a big 10 millimeter thick piece of foam straight down 90 degree can possibly cause some problems, because the blade will want to flex and curve a little bit, so you may not get that 90 degree line when you cut it. So if you're starting off, the thicker of the X-Acto knives is the best option. Then you're going to want to possibly pick up a Dremel. Now, this is kind of a little bit bigger than the normal set, but it's still very important. And I think if you invest in this, it is something you can get way better at the more you use it. So getting it early is something that I encourage. A Dremel is a rotary tool. It is an electric tool that has a little bit on the end. There's a bunch of different ones you can get, and this is going to be used for sanding and curving your foam. So if you cut something in a 90 degree, that looks really good as a cut, but pauldrons and armor and helmets don't always have 90 degree angles. So you're going to get this Dremel and you're going to put different type of bits on it, and it's going to slowly bevel that edge so it's got more of a curve to it. Definitely you're going to want to test this out before you go deep into your cosplaying. Try all the different bits out, give them a shot on different pieces of foam, see what they do, see how much they take off, so you know when you use them on your pieces of foam, you're not going to rip off a whole bunch of foam accidentally and then you're going to have to start again. Next, you're going to want to think about your adhesives, because once you have all your pieces cut out and ready to go, you're going to want to secure them together. Now, if you're just starting out, I always recommend just stick with hot glue. It's easy, it's readily available, no problem there. The only thing I will advise though, and I ran into this problem, and I think a lot of cosplayers do who use foam, hot glue is activated by the heat. So if you're out on a hot summer day at a convention, You could have some problems with adhesives. I have a famous story where I had a whole Gambit costume glued together with hot glue, and I was standing waiting for an elevator in a very hot hotel, and pieces just started to come loose because the hot glue started to melt with the heat. So, sticking with hot glue is okay to start with. If you don't want to have that problem, you can always go right up to contact cement. That is what most cosplayers use from all different levels. Contact cement, however, does have a warning. That is, it does have very, very toxic fumes. So you're going to want to either use it just outside, or if you have to do it inside, make sure to have a respirator and have a window open so it can ventilate all the fumes out. With your contact cement, you're going to want to put a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side, wait for it to dry. As soon as it touches, it will be bonded forever. It's great adhesive for cosplaying. However, like I said, fumes are an issue, so make sure to take care and wear your protection. Another piece of equipment you're probably going to want to put a little bit of investment into, but is very important when you're using foam, is a heat gun. What a heat gun is traditionally used for is sealing in the foam and also shaping it into different curves and weird positions that you actually want your foam to be. Most foam is either in a roll or in a flat sheet. Well, that doesn't really work if it's laying on you. No matter which way you cut your EVA foam, and maybe an angle or two has a little bit of a curve, you're going to want it to form around your body like whatever piece you're actually building is supposed to look like. So what you're going to do with your heat gun, you're going to heat your foam, cover it with a good layer of heat. That's going to seal in the foam. The EVA foam is actually very porous, which it's kind of like a sponge. If I don't heat seal foam and then I go over and paint it, well, it's just going to suck in the paint. It's going to take forever to make the foam look good. So you're going to heat the foam first, seal it in, and then you're going to take your heat gun and do it on certain sections to get that curve, like your shoulders and your legs and helmets. It's going to take a couple attempts, so don't think you're going to get on the first try. Take your time with it. Don't heat it too much. It will work. It's just going to take a couple attempts and is going to make your foam cosplay jump up to the next level. Lastly, the most important one I think is your paints. Your paints are going to take a cosplay from a 2 to a 10 if you learn to paint properly. And that just takes time, skill, and patience. It is also knowing what type of paints to use. Now, when it comes to foam armor and foam pieces, whether it's a weapon or anything, no matter how you build these foam pieces, you're going to have a little bit of flex in them. It doesn't matter if it's a helmet, it doesn't matter if it's a sword, as sturdy as they are, they will have some bend to it. That Ghost Rider head has some flex to it a bit. And the problem is that a lot of paints don't have the flexibility. If you just buy plain acrylics, as soon as they dry, they may look good, but as soon as you try and flex them a little bit, you'll see them crack. And that is just so frustrating to see. So you're going to want to try and use some all-purpose paints. These are usually a little more expensive than acrylics. You can find them at most art stores like Michael's, but plain acrylics just don't work as well as you might have hoped. Same with spray, same with aerosol spray, spray paint, stuff like that. Not the best to use on foam cosplay because it just doesn't hold up to that even little bit of flex. There used to be a brand out there called Plaid FX. They had some latex in the paint, which was amazing for cosplayers. But with most things that we love in cosplay world, they fall apart and they stop making it, which sucks. But I did hear a rumor that they are bringing back a line in the near future that is going to be primarily based towards people who like to paint shoes. So it is going to have a little bit of latex in it. So keep on the lookout for that. It's Plaid FX. You can find some bottles here and there. There's some on Amazon, but they're really expensive. Some stores might still have them, but they are not regularly making them anymore. So I have some tucked away that I'm going to save for a rainy day. But yeah, any of the all-purpose paints are probably your best bet to go with in while we're waiting for this new line to come along. So there you have it. You have your 6 cosplay tools, you have your writing utensils, you have your X-Acto knives, you have your Dremel, you have your adhesives, you have your heat gun, you have your paint. With these 6 items, you will be able to just blow up the cosplay world with your new foam armor and your foam weapons and anything else you want to build. Folks, I can't wait to see what you build next. If you like this video, click the link or click the subscribe, click the like button and all those things that everybody here on YouTube tells you to do. My name is Myers Corp Cosplay. Thanks for tuning in.